Did you know that not all that long ago the British public voluntarily killed hundreds of thousands of their own pets? Here's what happened. In the 1930s, the government was quite happy to import food in huge quantities from all across the globe, mostly from the colonies, but some things came from as far away as China, as you see on this map. All of these imports undercut British farmers and caused an agricultural depression, which meant that by the time the war broke out in 1939, British farming was not in a fit state to feed the nation. But this was exactly what had happened in the First World War, where the threat of German submarines forced the government to ration important foods. In the late 1930s, people still remembered these food shortages. Following the invasion of Poland, it was broadcast on the BBC that shops might run out of certain food items. They also broadcast some advice contained in a widely circulated pamphlet called National Air Raid Precautions for Animals. This was a government pamphlet encouraging the public to kill their pets if they didn't think they could be suitably looked after in a time of war. It contains advice on how to best kill different types of animal. This led many people to make the correct presumption that rationing of food would soon occur and that there would be no rations for pets. To feed your dog would mean giving less to your children. So in the first week of the Second World War, some 500,000 dogs and cats were killed by the British public. 26% of all of the pets in London were killed in the first 4 days of the conflict alone, and still more were killed when the Battle of Britain got underway. The fear of starvation and the memories of food shortages in the First World War caused the British public to kill somewhere in the region of 750,000 of their own pets voluntarily. These people were concerned that this country couldn't support all of the mouths it needed to feed. Today there are about 36 million pets in the UK. About 13.5 million dogs, 12.5 million cats. Every year this country uses about 1.5 million tonnes of food to sustain its dogs and cats. And that's forgetting about the hamsters and snakes and budgies and horses. This is food that could feed hundreds of thousands of people. And we import 40% of our food as it is. The geopolitical situation looks increasingly dicey, and the effects of climate change on the food supply are accelerating. And with talk of free trade agreements, it feels like the government wants to take us back to this map, a situation where our ability to sustain ourselves is completely at the mercy of other nations. Save British Farming are pretty worried about this, so we are hosting a panel event at the National Liberal Club in Whitehall Place. We will be calling on the government to write up a food production plan. This isn't a game. We are inviting farmers, campaigners, anyone who relies on the food system to come along, and we're going to have a war-themed event outside. So bring your vintage tractors, bring your dogs, and together we will remind the government what might be lost if we take food for granted and allow history to repeat itself. Register on the Eventbrite for more information. We look forward to seeing you there.